Heart of a Lion whānau. Heart of a Lion literally epitomises the next man we're about to kōrero with, Mr. Alan Jacko Jackson. He's a well-known figure within our game here in Taranaki, a tackling machine and explosive dummy half from the mighty Waitara Bears. Also played for the Wainuiomata Lions in Wellington back in the heydays and represented Taranaki, Wellington Central Districts. Also played for the New Zealand Kiwis under 17s. And also coached our Kiwi Ferns and is currently a development officer here with Mid-Central Zone and here in Taranaki, a passionate supporter of all things in Taranaki Rugby League. Jacko, how are we, mate?
Kia ora, Kips. How you going?
Not too bad, bro. Hey, good to have you here with us tonight, man. It's awesome to see you again and get to have another yarn about a game that we both love very, very much. So, yeah, appreciate your time today. But, hey, just to kick things off, just for you, Jacko, where did it all begin in terms of your footy and your sporting career and stuff?
Rugby league started with a mate of mine, Willie Tangata. Willie his dad, Duncan, was coach of the Waitara under 15s. And it started one Friday at school, and he said, we've got a game Sunday, come up and have a run. And I did, and I haven't been out of the game since, loved it. Fell in love with rugby league in one day. So, yeah, love at first sight, mate.
Love it. So did you play any other codes when you were younger, or was it just all rugby league?
No, mate, I played first 15 for Waitara High and stuff like that. Yeah, I played football. I've even played basketball, mate. Some people find that hard to believe, but being the height I am, but yeah, no, I had to go at anything. Not much into athletics because running wasn't my go, but yeah.
What was it about rugby league that drew you in, that made you want to stick with it?
I think a bit of instant success. I was good at it because I enjoyed running with the ball. I played rugby union, and I played I was sort of this size at about 13, 14, so I never grew much after that. So I was a prop forward in rugby, and then I went up to the game in Waitara, and Duncan Tangata said to me, you've got to have a run every time we get the ball, at least one carry. And I'm looking at him, I'm going, wow, this is awesome. And I did, and it was, you just had the ball in your hands so much. It just, yeah, that was a real big difference. You got to run with the ball a lot more, so I thought it was fun.
Yeah, and you mentioned the Waitara Bears, obviously a really proud club, but you actually played, well, from my understanding, two clubs, two staunch rugby league clubs, one being the Waitara Bears, but also the Wainuiomata Lions. What made these clubs so unique and so strong?
I think it was a little bit of they had sort of the same ingredient, like it was, it was a real, something that stands out to me is that it was a real whānau thing, like it's more than the saying, the New Zealand Rugby League saying was more than just a game. And rugby league is more than just a game to a lot of people and to me. So it was what sort of got me mostly.
What about, you mentioned you started when you were young with the Bears. Who were the kind of key stalwarts you kind of looked up to or even played alongside in your time? And, any people in particular you played with that you think in today's game could have probably kicked on to NRL kind of honours,
Howie Tarbity was the Waitara captain and Kiwi hooker at that stage when I started playing. So, it was always nice to see Howie and his brother Terry he's been the biggest influence on me in rugby league from the younger days right through to now. So yeah, just people like that. But they had some really good people up in Waitara, and they just looked after you, so you felt like you were part of the crew, and it was pretty special.
And how did the move to Wainuiomata happen?
I think I was looking for something a little bit different, and I'd played against Ken Laban, who was the captain of Wainui then, and he just sort of said, how about coming down? I actually nearly went to Petone the year before. They were interested in me going down, and I thought, maybe, but I didn't. And then Ken talks a good talk. He's got the gift of the gab, and I said, and had some exciting players coming to the club, like the Lomax brothers had lived in Wainui most of their lives. but had never played for Wainui. And there were four, I wouldn't call them ugly, but four big people that liked inflicting pain on the opposition. So that was quite nice.
Awesome. And some tough competition down there. I heard the Wellington comp back in that time. That would have been what, early 80s? Early 80s, pretty tough competition.
It was late 80s, yeah. We used Wednesday night footy was a really, really big sell down there. They used to have Upper Hutt was a very good side, Randwick, Petone, and us. So they'd play with us. Four teams would play Wednesday night football quite often, and you'd get 3,500 people to the Hutt Rec just watching it. It was and it was some good football, and had some really good players in all of those sides, like some Mike Kawiti out of Upper Hutt, and there's some really, really good footballs. Barry Harvey is a Taranaki boy that was playing for Randwick. He was their captain, and so we were some really good footballers down there. And I guess it was just before they pulled the plug and let everyone go to, everyone started going to Australia and playing NRL.
So just probably chatting on that, you talk about the massive crowds, and I actually remember as a kid seeing some of those games on television back in the days, and the sidelines were just packed. And so, what do you think that what are the changes that have kind of happened with rugby league today compared to back then, and how is the game going at present, and what shifts were there in the game from that time to now?
On the field, there's the major shift for me was going from 5 meters to 10. I love that. That was really, really good. It opened up the game. It made it a lot more, probably a little bit less physical. And the biggest change nowadays is the athletes that are playing. There's, it seems that each generation gets taller and leaner and faster. So it's really cool. The game's in pretty good shape, I reckon. It's hard to get, I guess, just a trend that not all youth go through and start playing footy, Saturday footy when they finish school. They seem a lot of them trend the other way and don't play much sport at all.
What about the numbers? Like the numbers here in Taranaki? How's the game going today? Checking today in terms of our junior numbers are really, really good. And even within the mid-central zone, how's the game going? Within the mid-central zone, I see Manawatu's got heaps of teams now in their senior competition. So some real moves happening at the moment.
Yeah, it's okay. We're sort of Taranaki's going all right, especially the junior grades going really well. Hawke's Bay, they're just starting their competition this weekend, and their senior grades are a little bit shaky, but their kids' grades are just blown out of the water. Like there's a lot of kids wanting to play rugby league. Manawatu got a couple more men's teams than they used to have, and they've got a women's competition this year. First time in a couple of years that it's been a good competition where it's got about 5-6 teams. So, there's growth around the place. It's it's hard, and a lot of our kids try to play every sport in the world, and it's a little bit hard on them. They play b-ball, they play rugby union, they play cricket, they play league. They play a lot of sports. I don't know when they do their schooling, but yeah.
And your involvement? What's your involvement now? So obviously you're a development officer for the zone.
Yeah. Official label is coaching and development manager. So for the zone, I'm just helping coaches. It's probably the biggest part of my job, and probably the hardest. And just coordinating different things and helping out. We've got 5 teams going away to national competitions this year from mid-central zone. So it's a lot of people to organise and get ready and get to different places. And because we're such a big area, it's quite tough.
Yeah. And so this weekend, or it's actually kicked off today, the New Zealand Secondary Schools Tournament, the growth has been enormous. I see like a massive increase in the amount of schools that are attending the tournament this year. So what do you think's been the game changer for that?
I'm not too sure actually, because it hasn't just grown; it's blown out of the water. There's close to 50 teams going, and we used to only have about half that. It's a really good tournament be at too, because with the secondary schools, you get a lot of kids that haven't played much league, or if any, and they just want to have a jam, and they go there and you see a little bit of different style of footy. They don't mind taking risks and stuff like that. So it's really good to watch. But yeah, I just think, like the Warriors last year did us a real big hand by going so well. It's a pity they didn't back it up a little bit more this year. But yeah, I just think people just want to have a jam at it and see what it's like.
I see two teams. There's 2 teams from Taranaki, New Plymouth Boys High and Francis Douglas are heading up.
Yeah, man. So I think it's the first time New Plymouth Boys High have been to this competition. They played in New Zealand Secondary Schools competition back in the 90s when it was a different format. So Francis Douglas have been to this tournament before. I actually went with them one year. They've been good. Robin Wackrow, Mrs. Wackrow, used to drive the boys up there. She's an awesome lady, mate. She loves rugby league. She's passionate. So that's why Francis Douglas have gone so often. But yeah, they're both up there this weekend. So looking forward to seeing them play.
Awesome. And lastly, mate, who's your pick for the NRL? Who you picking to go all the way?
I think, mate, I've usually got my Roosters jersey on because I'm staunch Roosters, but we didn't play well in the weekend and we lost 3 of our better players, so I'm not too sure. I think it'll be either Penrith will do it again or the Storm will win it. I reckon those two, it'll be just about those two in the final.
And
still hoping Roosters will get there.
And SJ's final game, what'd you think about that one?
Or he might get another. Oh yeah, mate, that was also awesome way to. He's done so much for the game in New Zealand. Like everyone wants to go out and play like Sean Johnson, and I think it was nice we had Benji first, and everyone wanted to play like him. And then next thing, Shawnee come along, and everyone goes, "Oh man, I want to play like him." So it's really good to have those sorts of players, and very good player. And hit along, and without winning a title, he had a long and very successful. Career.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, hey, thank you, Jacko. Appreciate all you do and have done for our game here in Taranaki and abroad. We look forward to seeing the continuation of the growth of the game in the future, and look forward to seeing you around the field, mate, doing what you do, setting up the flags and the pads and the sidelines. And appreciate all you do, bro, and appreciate your time.
Thanks, mate. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. That's us, whānau. Another episode of Te Ao Hākinakina coming to you live right here from your Tribal Pulse Te Kore Mako o Taranaki.